Well, what's going on, Flyers fans, and welcome back to this season premiere of the Clear the Ice, a Flyers postgame show here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. Good God. What's your boy, Matty B, on the call? And, man, what? This day started out so full of hope and promise, man. It's completely gone downhill. Flyers are the second Philadelphia team to fall. I don't know. Did they lose before the Phillies did? No, they might have. They lose tonight 2-1 in down in South Florida. The Panthers raising the banner, defending their back-to-back Stanley Cup championships, and they do it successfully, at least on this night, as the Flyers went down, and they fought. But listen, what you saw tonight from the Flyers, what you saw happen tonight on the ice, it's a snapshot of what they are. They just don't have enough offense. Again, where have you heard this one before? They don't have enough offense. Dan Vladar, who played, got to start tonight, which I thought was pretty interesting. I don't know if that's an indictment on Ersson or, a slap on the back for Vladar. And I don't know how I feel going forward with the fact that now they don't apparently trust Ersson to be the opening day starter, but gets the nod, played okay. The second goal, I mean, both goals, honestly, the Panthers scored tonight were from distance. One was in the slot, so I can kind of give you that one. It was a clean look. The other one was from the dot area, and it was just kind of flung at the net and, went over his shoulder. You can't give up that goal. That second goal, you can't give that up. But he played well, and the Flyers played well in front of him for the most part. A lot of missed opportunities. TK in the second period down low with an opportunity with the open net, and he shoots wide. You got Mitchkov doing his stuff, trying to tuck a puck underneath the crossbar, and then you get Bobrovsky making the amazing save there. I give the Flyers a lot of credit. Now, the Panthers they're without, what's his name, Barkov. They're also without Tkachuk, as both of them are not able to play. I think Barkov's out for the year, and Tkachuk's going to be gone until late December. So they were a little shorthanded themselves, but the Flyers gave the Panthers everything they could handle tonight, and a 2-1 loss. And but when you're looking at, and I know it's all about growth and development and getting, putting the pieces together to make this thing a sustainable Stanley Cup champion, I honestly didn't see anything different than I've seen over the last 3 years. So we'll get into this game. We're going to break things down. We're going to break it all down. And welcome to the It's a Wrap Sports Network, apparently serving as your free psychiatry service today, as it's been one disaster after another. The Phillies, man, why didn't you throw the ball to first base? I thought I was looking at a 10-year-old, man. Phillies go down they lose 2-1 as well? Yeah, they lost 2-1 in LA. The Eagles it's slipping away at the Meadowlands. The Eagles are about to lose to the Giants, and Matty B called that one. But the Flyers and the Panthers tonight, the Eagles will be the trifecta of the three losses in this thing. And Cam Scatterboo just scored another touchdown for the Giants. Again, I said this in the Birds Blast. You could have had Cam Scatterboo. You could have had him. I was very high on that kid. Profiled him and everything on my show. So that's man, we got one more post-game show left to come. So I'm not the last one. Big Al, I was going to set a box of Kleenexes over there. Big Al looking all distraught and emotion as he broke down the Phillies' extra inning loss tonight, ending their 2025 season. And of course, I'll have an opportunity a little bit later on, maybe on Sunday with my show, to dive deep into that. And then, of course, the Eagles, the Birds flyby will be on right after me to knock this game out, which is looking more and more like an Eagle loss to the Giants. So what started out to be such a hopeful day, a hopeful day full of a lot of promise, has ended up probably being one of the worst Philadelphia sports days in my life. You just got to laugh. If you don't laugh, you'll get overcome by the emotion. But let's get into this bad boy. Flyers, Panthers in South Florida. Your starting goaltender, Sergei Bobrovsky, gets the nod for the Panthers, and mentioned Dan Vladar got the nod for the Flyers. Flyers started the night off with a couple of healthy scratches. Dennis Gilbert, Nikita Gorbenkin, and then Jetlachenko. Interesting Jetlachenko not dressing tonight. The Flyers were obviously going with a little bit more of a physical crew to sort of tackle the Panthers. For the Panthers, their healthy scratches were Noah Gregor, Cole Schmidt, and Olvis Balakinis. That's right, it's hockey season. I got to get spun up on my names as well. It's going to be bothering me all season long. Again, the Panthers raising up the banner, celebrating their second straight Stanley Cup championship. There was no goal scoring in the first period. A very, very tight first period. About halfway through, the Panthers started getting a little bit more aggressive on offense as the period wore on. They would finish the first period out shooting the Flyers 13-6 as they really kind of took it to the Flyers towards the back end of that period. A lot of time spent in the Flyer zone. The first goal of the game would not get put on the board until the second period at the power play goal at the 5:29 mark of the period. Flyers were shorthanded in this game 5 times. Listen, you're already an offensively limited team. You already know what you are offensively. You're going at this thing with a patchwork blue line because you got Cam York and Ristolainen starting the season off on IL. You can't give up 5 penalties. You can't. The Flyers did kill 4 of them, but this was the one they did not. Anton Lundell, his first goal of the season, it was on the power play at the 5:29 mark to give the Panthers the early lead. And yeah, we're going to break it down. Breaking down the goals, folks, as we're back. We're back, baby. We're back to breaking some goals down on this program. Let's key it up. Again, this is where I long for a producer. Maybe I should have actually ran through this a little bit, but let's bring this thing up. There we go. I think it's up. Yep, there we go. All right, so here we are. Well, I'm doing the wrong. What am I doing here? What is this? What is going on? Stop sharing. I don't want to share that screen. Let's go into this screen. Oh, there it is. That's what I wanted to share. All right. All right, so here we go. Let's pick up the play at the red line. The Panthers coming in on the power play. Let's play it from here. Nice clean entry here. Nothing really wrong, but let's go right here. This is where this play kind of goes off the rails. You got a odd man entry on this side. You got one defender, Yulson, the new Flyer, the guy that was picked up in free agency, kind of left out on an island a little bit. In this situation, shorthanded, you're pretty much hamstrung here. You really got to be careful because you got an overload on your side. The best thing to do is what he ends up doing is he'll end up collapsing in front of his goaltender, but he collapsed a little bit too deep. The play is developing in front of him. Travis Konechny was late getting on into this play, which created that overload on that side. So the Panthers essentially have a 2-on-1. You're just going to wait for it to set up, and Lundell's going to slip right down into the slot here, and the play is going to come. And there you go. There's Yulson. Just he's kind of stuck in no man's land. I'm not going to really pin this on him. Again, Travis Konechny late getting into the play kind of created this. And here's where the shot, as we can see, it's out by the dot in sort of the slot. It's a little bit back off that slot, but look at the clean look Vladar has at this shot. And, you got to make this save. You got to have it, man. He goes short side, beats him with the pad, and it's 1-0 Panthers. That is a savable shot. A little bit of a breakdown defensively for the Flyers, a little bit. And it really wasn't on the defense. It was more on Travis Konechny not getting back into the play in time. It was played as best as you can play it by Yulson in that particular instance. Vladar's got to have that. Vladar's got to make that save. It's a clean look. It was towards the ice, and he's just got to have that save, but he didn't. And the Flyers are now trailing 1-0 to the hands of the Florida Panthers. Mike Papernick checks in and says, it's a horrible day in Philly sports. Yeah, it is. Ricky Deal says, let's go Flyers. Not tonight. Thoughts on the performance of the goal? We're going to break. I did kind of break some of that down already, Joe. But, as I just kind of ragged on him for the first goal, both goals in this game were savable shots that Vladar should have had. That first goal that we just sort of broke down, maybe I'll give that one a little bit more credence there, but still a very savable shot. Again, from distance, clean look, no screen along the ice, and just beats him. And he just gets beat on the long side, and you gotta be better than that. Oh, hang on. The best thing about today is that as a silver lining that Robbie will be pink slip back to Canada and fire. Whoa. Peppernick, well, listen, I know it. Right now the Phillies game is stinging hard, and I get it. I'm holding it back too. I want to break into my Phillies rant as well, but I gotta pull it together for the Flyers' sake because I got to report on the Flyers' loss. So, I'm sort of compartmentalizing all this anger from the Phillies, the Flyers, and about the Eagles. I called the Eagles losing this game. If you guys watched the Birds Blast earlier, I said 28-20 Giants. Jackson Dart. Ooh. If the Giants win this game, there is a Super Bowl win, as was last week's Bronco win, was their Super Bowl win. Again, the Eagles, we said it all off season, right? They're now the hunted. Teams are going to prepare that way. The Eagles are going to get the best from every single team, especially these lower teams. They're going to get the very best from these lower teams every week on out. And can the Eagles face that? That's part of the adversity. And there's something wrong with the Eagle offense. Absolutely something wrong with this offense. And now the defense is showing wear and tear of being left on the field way too long, and we're in week 6. So it ain't looking good. The 2023 comparison, which I agree to, might not even be like, this could be the beginning of an epic disaster right now with this football team. And again, we'll break more into that later on other shows, and please stand by for the Birds Flyby to follow the Eagles game. Matt, the phone lines open. This is not my show, Ricky. This is the Flyers postgame. We're not going to do phone lines on this one quite yet. Let me get through this. So we got 1-0 Panthers. That's how the second period. We got one more goal. Noah Cates would get the Flyers right back in this thing at the 17:48 back end of the second period. His first of the season from Tyson Forrester. Let's bring that bad boy up. This was a pretty goal. This was a hockey 101 goal. This is a goal that you would probably, if you're a hockey coach, especially at the youth level, you would show your young players on how to properly execute this play as a centerman, because Noah Cates did everything you're supposed to do as a center on this particular play to get the equalizer. Let's bring this up, and there we go. All right, so we're in the face-off. We're in the Panther zone. The Flyers, it's an even strength situation. There's Noah Cates right there in the middle. He's taking the face-off. I want you to keep your eyes on Cates because this is what's going to happen. Cates is going to do everything right here. He's going to win the face-off. He's going to, as you can see, sort of kind of bodied up his was that Ekblad there? He's going to body up his opposite number, and he's going to roll off his opposite number, and he's going to do what you're supposed to do as a center in that situation. He's going to go to the net. Go to the net, young man. Always good things happen when you go to the net. The puck is going to go back to the point. The Flyer defenseman is going to see that. I believe it was Forrester, and he's going to put the puck on the net. So let's roll it here. There's Cates. Watch him. There he goes. He's heads up. He's skating towards net. He's waiting for a rebound. The rebound comes, and he's Johnny on the spot as he splits the defense, and he ties the game up at 1. A beautiful hockey fundamental 101 play executed by Noah Cates, and that Cates-Forrester brink line at it again as they get the Flyers on the board for the season. And in this game, it is now 1-1 at this point, and that is how the second period would end. The second period shot totals in this game, now Flyers were outshot 12-9 in the second period. Moving on to the third period, we got just the one goal, and that was Brad Marchand's first of the season. Truly an ugly goal. I have to show it because I'm under contract to show it. But this is this goal can't happen. This goal cannot happen. Joe Hale's asking me about what my opinion was on the goalie and Vladar's performance. It was okay, but stuff like this cannot happen, and we're going to roll the tape on this. And you tell me, Joe Hale, you tell me what you think of this goal. Because this was bad. Let me get into this. Why am I not able to do this now? There we go. All right, so Brad Marchand. Let's pick this up. Entry into the Flyers zone. Pretty innocent play here. Panthers are going to enter in. They're going to try to set up. Flyers have this well covered, absolutely well covered here. Everyone's doing what they're supposed to do. The shot's going to come. It's going to go blockage. It's going to go kind of trickling around. There's Vladar sort of following around the other side of the ice. Again, I got no problems with the defensive coverage here. And then I got problems with this. Look at that. You can't. Brad Marchand is standing on the half wall, and he's literally flinging the puck towards net because, again, that's what you do. You try to put pucks on net in order to create rebounds, or what just happened there. You just can't have that. That's a bad goal. That's a terrible goal. That's not a starting caliber goaltender in that National Hockey League goal. It's very reminiscent of what we were watching from Urson and Fedotov last year, as Marchand blindly throws the puck on the net, and it goes right over his shoulder and into the net for the go-ahead goal for the Panthers. Just a truly ugly goal. It makes me sick to watch it, but it counts, and that's what was ultimately going to be the game winner there. Marchand's first to make it 2-1, and folks, that's how we ended 2-1. The Flyers were outshot 9-5 in that third period. For the game, the Flyers were outshot 30-24. Flyers were 0 for 2 on the power play. The first power play they had was only about 15 seconds long. And then the second power play just couldn't really get anything going at all. The Panthers were 1 for 5 on the power play. Again, that's correct. Flyers were short in this game 5 times. So you do the math, 2 times 5 is 10. That's 10 minutes, a half a period that the Flyers spent short. It makes it harder to win at this level. It makes it very hard to win at the NHL level when you're playing half a period, one man down. You can't do that. You got to be better. Flyers blocked 10 shots on the night. They gave the puck away 23 times, and they took the puck away 4. And that's your game. 2-1. Flyers now fall to 0-1 on the season. Panthers go to 1-0. And there you have it, man. There you have it. Matty B, Ryan, what is up? Why did Dvorak play wing? That's a good question. Obviously, they were trying. I think it had a lot to do with trying to get some, not playing Lechenko tonight. The Flyers went with more of a veteran presence out there, a little bit more of a physical presence. I guess they wanted to free Dvorak up for opportunities with the puck, maybe to give him a little bit more creativity, a little bit more opportunity to direct things out there as a winger. I don't know. It's a great question. He was brought here as a center. He was brought here for his masterful puck winning abilities on the faceoff. And by the way, just a little admin note: Travis Sanheim. Replacing Scott Lawton with the A in the lineup. So not only is that fraud stealing money from the organization, now they slap the A on his chest. So Travis Sanheim is your new assistant or alternate captain, at least for this night. So, but I don't know. That's a great question. I don't know why Dvorak did play the wing. I really don't. But I don't know if that would help much or if it would have changed the verdict in this game, because watching this game, I could see a little bit more freer movement from the Flyers. I saw Rick Tockett's impression already on this team. You could definitely see they were a little bit more creative, a little bit more freer out there. They weren't making as many mistakes early on. The mistakes started to compound a little bit as the game wore on. They also, again, 5 times shorthanded. You can't have that. You're really putting yourself at a disadvantage at this level to try to win hockey games. So 2-1 Flyers fall tonight in South Florida. 0-1 now on the season. Michael Papernik is 90% roster construction, as me and Maddie have been saying all seeing with the hitters. Jess Thompson often over managers. Listen, Ryan, Papernik, Ricky, Joe Hale, everybody out there, trust me, you will hear my complete breakdown of the disaster of the 2025 playoffs very soon. But yeah, I mean, you're gonna go into these games and you're going to dissect every last move, and that's what we do in the playoffs. And what happened tonight from the mismanagement of the pitching, Johan Duran pitching in the 7th inning. I mean, I get it; it was a tight game, but I mean, you're essentially eliminating your closer at that point for a potential taking the. There's a lot of missteps by Rob Thompson tonight, but the biggest misstep was made by the pitcher. The biggest misstep was by Orion Kerkering not throwing the friggin' baseball to first base. I just don't, you expect that from a little leaguer. You expect that from a 10-year-old, 12-year-old. You don't expect it from a Major League Baseball player. Throw the baseball to first base. He had plenty of time to make that play. There was no reason to throw it home. Did he forget how many outs there were? Did he just get flustered? Either way, it's inexcusable what Ryan Kerkering did out there. I'm not pinning this game on him, but I sure as hell am not alleviating him of accountability for that stupid-ass play. You throw the ball to first. I don't really care if you feel like you can't get the runner. You have a better chance of getting a runner at first than you do with the bases loaded and a runner trying to score on a force play who's running at the crack of the bat. That play had a low percentage chance of working, throwing that ball home, even if it was a better throw. You go to first base. It's baseball 101. They teach you that crap in Little League, and I'm at a loss for what happened out there, but we'll definitely get an opportunity to break this thing down a lot more a little bit later on. But the Flyers lose tonight 2-1. Off to Carolina now to the Hurricanes on Saturday night. And there you go here. Pat Bernard will have you for that Saturday postgame. And I will be back some point next week. I think next Saturday I'm back on against the Wild. I think that's my next one. So Flyers lose 2-1 as the disaster of a Philadelphia sports day rolls on here in Delaware Valley. Thank you for watching the Clear the Ice program season 4 debut show. Will it be different than the others? Will we end it in May in playoff land? I don't know. Listen, I liked the Flyers tonight. I did. I liked the way they were moving. Still, you can't mask lack of offensive talent. You can't mask goaltending ability, and you can't mask the shamblization that's on the blue line right now. But for what they did tonight against the two-time defending Stanley Cup champions, you got to give them a pat on the back because they held their own and they battled to the end. It's just more of what they are and what this whole thing is as we build this to a different level. You're going to get games like this. You're going to micromanage and microanalyze everything because that's just how you do it when there's a team that has such a little margin of error. The Flyers have no margin of error. They don't have the talent to pick themselves up from being shorthanded 5 times in a game. They don't have the talent to pick themselves up from 2 bad goals given up by their goaltender. They just don't have that kind of talent. They got to play almost perfectly every night. That can't happen, but they fought, they battled. They definitely looked like a different team under Tocchet, and it could be the recipe for a very interesting season at the least bit. And we're going to take you on the ride for the next 81 games, starting here tonight with the Clear the Ice Panthers edition. So, guys, thanks for joining me. Please stay tuned for the Birds Flyby Eagles postgame. Ryan says it was said before the game Duran was going to be available to pitch multiple innings. That's why he pitched. I don't care what they said. It was a stupid decision to pitch your closer. I don't know. I just, again, call me a baseball purist. He's the closer, for God's sakes. What happens if you needed a closer? But again, we're going to get into the Phillies a lot later. But you guys have a good rest of your night. Please stay tuned for the Birds Flyby and all the great other things happening on the network. What can I say? You guys take care. The sun will come up tomorrow. I promise you that. I definitely promise you the sun will come up and everything will be okay. Looks like they have too much of sit back style. I want aggressive and attack. Certain aspects, yes. Right now, the defense is in a position that they can't gamble. They're too short up on the blue line right now. They got to play that way defensively, and offensively. I didn't see that. I saw an aggressive attack at times. Not too much creativity close to the net, but I saw an attack. But again, they just don't have the talent. I mean, I'm not going to get on them for that. They just don't. All right, guys. I'll catch you next time you'll see me will be probably Sunday. So you guys enjoy your holiday weekend. And again, the sun will come up tomorrow. We'll talk again.